Hello whisky fans, and welcome to another review of a very special whisky, and it's a very special Kilchoman whisky because it's that time of the year where Kilchoman release their annual Kilchoman Club release. So this is the 9th edition, limited release, and it's nice to see in a way that this really is a limited release. Although not so nice that probably a lot of people have been disappointed and haven't been able to get it, but it does say somewhere how many bottles they've actually released. 1,311. So you compare that to what some distilleries class as limited edition, which would be 10 or 20 times that number of bottles. This really is limited, and it is really special stuff. So being Kilchoman, we know that it's Islay single malt Scotch whisky, product of Scotland. We know that it's non-chill filtered and natural colour, being Kilchoman, because it always is. And we also know that it was filled on the 20th, so that's put into the cask, on the 23rd of August 2012, and it was bottled on the 16th of November 2020. So that's actually 4 days ago. So hopefully there's not going to be too much bottle shock going on this one, because it has been put into the bottle less than a week before the date that I'm actually tasting this and giving you my opinions. Not that it matters, I have bottle number 736 out of 1,311. We also know that it's 56.2% ABV, which is cask strength. So just another little thing that makes this extra special, even more special than all Kilchoman whisky is. So let's get on with the nosing and the tasting. That is really tight cork. I was actually in two minds as to whether or not I was going to buy this whisky, and the thing that really swayed it and made me decide that I needed this is, I should have mentioned this at the start, this is actually a bit of a special release from Kilchoman, even more than the normal club releases, because it is matured in, I believe, 4 sherry casks. Yeah, a vatting of 4 fresh Oloroso sherry hogsheads, and it's also fermented and distilled from 100% Islay spirit, from their own barley grown and malted on site, and it's also 100% unmalted barley. So when I heard that, I was a little bit disappointed that they'd put it through a sherry cask, because I really wanted the opportunity to try Kilchoman whisky with no peat influence and as little cask influence as possible, because I thought that's going to be a really lovely, fresh and juicy and sharp spirit, really lemony and laser sharp. And I haven't quite got that, because it's been full term matured in those 4 Oloroso sherry hogsheads. But still, Unpeated Kilchoman is a real rarity indeed. So true to form, it must be said that there's not much peat on the nose. What there is lots and lots of sherry influence. So lots of lovely, and it's a proper sherry cask. It's not your flavour dipped, excessively sweet sherry. It's more of a sweet and floral sherry. And lots of oak spice in there as well. Lovely floral oak spice. It doesn't actually say what type of oak the casks were made of. It says that they were Oloroso sherry hogsheads. Now quite often with hogsheads, those will be American white oak that have been reassembled into a cask that's then been treated with sherry. But I'm getting quite a lot of notes on the nose, especially with this whisky, that hint that they can actually be genuine European oak sherry casks. I'd love to know either way whether that's the case or not, but sadly I don't know. Also quite a bit of nuttiness, and in particular there's a real peanut note, and it's not the sort of sweet peanut brittle syrupiness that you get with bourbons. It's more of a dry peanut note. There's a slight sweaty aroma on the nose, as well as lots of dry dark chocolate notes and a touch of raisins as well. It's not all dry and austere. There are also some sweeter, sort of candied orange peel, Christmas cakey notes on the nose. It's also quite a gristy nose, which is something that I always like. And along with that gristiness, it must be said that you're getting a little bit of a musty, foisty, peppery peatiness. So you'd be quite right to say, how can that possibly be the case? But it does actually say something along these lines on the box, that a distillery like Kilchoman, that is almost full-time dedicated to producing peated whisky, the peat actually clings to the inside of their washbacks and their stills and every part of every piece of equipment they've got, I would imagine. And that peatiness, it probably takes quite a few runs before you manage to lose that flavour. So even though this is an unpeated whisky from Kilchoman, you're still getting that nice little touch of peatiness. Let's see how it tastes. Again, it's not an overly sweet whisky. Not as sweet as you might expect for something that's matured full term in sherry hogsheads, but there are some moderately sweet orangey notes in there, as well as some dry spicy oak and some rather nice peppery spicy notes. And there's something that reminds me a little bit of those bars of chocolate that you can get that are enhanced with chili oil or possibly pieces of whole chilies. Quite a lot of rather pleasantly bitter spicy oak on the palate, as well as some leathery floral notes too. I would actually say that there's probably a little bit more going on the nose of this whisky than there is on the palate, but neither are by any stretches of the imaginations bad or mild or limited. It's a really good whisky. As for the finish, it's definitely a long finish with notes of bitter coffee and chocolate and more of that pleasantly bitter oakiness. And towards the end of the finish, you do actually get a little bit of that bright, lemony, sharp Kilchoman spirit just peeks through and lingers on the end. As for a grade, I'm going to give this one a B+. I am a little bit disappointed that I didn't get the sharp and focused, raw and naked Kilchoman with no sherry or peat to disguise it, but what we've got here is a phenomenally well-made and well-matured whisky. I'm not sure if I mentioned, but this is only an 8-year-old whisky, and you can tell that they're just doing everything right at Kilchoman, and the casks that they're selecting must be really top-notch. I've never actually had a bad whisky from Kilchoman, and I would actually say that this Kilchoman Club 2020 9th edition is one of the best sherry matured whiskies that I've had from the distillery, and it's probably the best balanced out of all of the sherry matured Kilchomans that I've ever had. So congratulations to anyone out there who also managed to get a bottle. Cheers.